For months, the story existed only in fragments. Rumors, whispers, anonymous claims posted online, small details that appeared, disappeared, and reappeared again. Nobody could agree on what was true. Nobody could verify what was false. Yet despite the confusion, one thing was obvious. People believed there was a much bigger story hiding beneath the surface. Then, without warning, a prison audio recording surfaced online. And suddenly, the speculation became something far more serious. Within hours, clips of the conversation were spreading across social media platforms at an astonishing speed. Millions of people were listening. News channels were discussing it. Content creators were analyzing it. Online communities were dissecting every second. The leak immediately became one of the most talked about controversies on the internet. Not because the recording contained dramatic screaming. Not because it featured explosive threats. Not because it revealed some obvious confession. The reason people couldn't stop talking about it was much more unsettling. The conversation sounded normal, calm, relaxed, almost routine. And that's exactly what made listeners uncomfortable. Because when people expect controversy, they expect chaos. They expect anger. They expect confrontation. Instead, what they heard was a conversation delivered with an almost casual tone. That contrast created an eerie feeling. A feeling that something important was happening beneath the surface. Something that wasn't immediately obvious. As the recording spread, thousands of listeners began replaying it repeatedly. They weren't just listening. They were investigating. Every sentence became evidence. Every pause became significant. Every change in tone became a clue. Entire communities formed around analyzing the recording. People slowed the audio down. People isolated specific phrases. People compared different sections. People debated the meaning of individual words. The internet transformed into a giant investigation room. Everyone wanted answers, but nobody had them. And that's when the mystery truly began. The first major question wasn't even about what was said. It was about how the recording escaped. Prisons operate under strict controls. Communications are monitored. Calls are recorded. Access is limited. Security procedures exist specifically to prevent sensitive information from leaving the facility. At least that's what the public assumes. Yet somehow this recording found its way outside. Somehow it reached the internet. Somehow it landed in the hands of people who had no business hearing it. That fact alone generated enormous concern. Because if one recording could escape, what else could escape? If one conversation became public, how many others exist? How many recordings remain hidden? How many files are sitting somewhere waiting to surface? Suddenly, the leak wasn't just about the people involved. It became a story about security, oversight, control, and accountability. The mystery surrounding the leak's origin became almost more important than the audio itself. Who had access? Who handled the recording? Who released it? Was the leak recent? Or had the recording been sitting in someone's possession for months? Nobody knew. And uncertainty creates opportunity. Opportunity for speculation. Opportunity for theories. Opportunity for endless debate. As expected, the theories exploded. Some people believed the recording revealed knowledge that was never supposed to become public. Others believed it exposed hidden relationships operating behind closed doors. Some suggested the leak was accidental. Others insisted it was deliberate. That possibility quickly became one of the most discussed aspects of the entire story. Because if someone intentionally released the recording, then they almost certainly had a reason. Leaks rarely happen without motive. Someone wanted this conversation heard. Someone wanted attention focused on it. Someone wanted a reaction. The obvious question became, why? Why release it now? Why not earlier? Why not later? Why choose this specific moment? The timing fueled countless theories. Many observers pointed out that timing can often be as important as content. A recording released at the right moment can completely reshape public discussion. It can redirect attention, create controversy, generate headlines, influence public opinion. The timing of this leak became a mystery of its own. As public fascination grew, online investigators began focusing on details most people would never notice. Small pauses, brief moments of silence, minor changes in speech patterns, comments that appeared ordinary at first glance. Some listeners argued that the most important information wasn't what was said. It was what wasn't said. They believed certain moments hinted at larger stories without directly revealing them. Whether those interpretations were accurate hardly mattered. Because once people begin searching for hidden meanings, every detail becomes significant. A pause becomes suspicious. A phrase becomes symbolic. A sentence becomes evidence. And before long, an entire narrative begins forming around assumptions. That's exactly what happened here. Every day brought new theories. Every day brought new interpretations. Every day brought another wave of analysis videos, podcasts, articles, and discussions. The story expanded far beyond the recording itself. It became a cultural event, a public mystery, a puzzle everyone wanted to solve. The fascination wasn't driven by certainty. It was driven by uncertainty. Nobody knew exactly what happened. Nobody could confidently explain the leak. Nobody could provide a complete timeline. And because nobody could provide those answers, interest continued growing. Human beings are naturally drawn to mysteries. We want explanations. We want closure. We want conclusions. But when answers remain out of reach, curiosity takes over. That's what transformed this prison audio leak from a simple recording into a worldwide discussion. The story contained every ingredient necessary to capture public attention: secrecy, power, restricted access, hidden communications, questions without answers, and perhaps most importantly, the possibility that there was still more to discover. Many people described the same reaction after listening to the recording. A feeling that they were hearing only part of the story. A feeling that context was missing. A feeling that something important remained hidden. That sensation proved incredibly powerful. Because once people believe information is being withheld, they become determined to uncover it. Even if they don't know what they're looking for, the search itself becomes the attraction. Weeks passed. Interest remained. New discussions emerged. New perspectives appeared. And the recording continued generating attention. Some observers focused on institutional failures. Others focused on the individuals involved. Others concentrated entirely on the leak itself. Each group believed they understood what mattered most. Each group argued passionately. Each group presented evidence supporting their conclusions. Yet despite thousands of hours of analysis, one reality remained unchanged. Nobody could establish a definitive narrative. Nobody could prove exactly what happened. Nobody could fully explain why the recording surfaced. The mystery survived. And that's precisely why the story refused to die. The strongest mysteries aren't always the biggest. They're the ones that leave just enough information missing. Enough information to keep people asking questions. Enough uncertainty to keep theories alive. Enough ambiguity to prevent closure. This prison audio leak became that kind of mystery. Every answer created new questions. Every explanation generated new doubts. Every attempt to close the story somehow expanded it. Months from now, people may still be discussing it. New details may emerge. New recordings may appear. New revelations may completely change how the public views the situation. Or perhaps nothing new will happen at all. Perhaps the unanswered questions will remain unanswered. But even then, the fascination will continue. Because mysteries possess a unique power. Facts can be forgotten. Opinions can change. Headlines can disappear. But mysteries endure. They linger in public memory. They invite endless interpretation. They refuse to provide easy conclusions. And until every question surrounding this prison audio leak is finally answered, one thing is certain. The debate will continue. The speculation will continue. The investigations will continue. People will keep searching for clues. People will keep challenging assumptions. People will keep trying to uncover what really happened behind the scenes. Because somewhere between the recording, the leak, the unanswered questions, and the growing public fascination lies the reason this story has captured so much attention. Not because people know the truth, but because they don't. And sometimes, not knowing is what keeps a mystery alive the longest.